These are the most emotionally invalidating things that I stop saying to my kids. Number one, you have nothing to cry about. I'm not going to tell my kids what they can or cannot cry about. I can't contradict myself by telling them it's okay to cry and then giving them a specific list of things that it's okay to cry about. They're kids. They're going to cry about things that we would deem silly. In their minds, they're not silly. As they get older, they'll learn on their own that that's not something to cry about. But it's not my place to tell them that they shouldn't cry about it. As they get older and it becomes not so silly, they're going to be less inclined to share those emotions with me because they're already going to feel that those feelings are not valid. Another one, crying is for babies. I just cried 3 days ago, so I can confirm that that is not true. Number two, I don't care. I often found myself saying things like, I don't care if that's what you were trying to do, you hurt your brother. But I have made my best effort to remove the sentence, I don't care, from my vocabulary when it comes to talking to my kids, for obvious reasons. I don't even want that to be something that my kids get used to hearing from me because it's not true. I do care. What they're saying at that moment might not be exactly what I want or need to hear, but it's not because I don't care. So I didn't want to continue to verbalize it as if that was the reason. Number three, you don't listen. This is among the many you sentences that I stopped saying to my kids. And the reason being is that my voice is going to become my child's inner voice. Because you are the person that your child is most exposed to for the first 18 years of their life. So naturally, the things that I say to them are going to be the things that they start to think about themselves. And the things I don't want them to think about themselves is that they don't listen. They don't behave. It may not be what they're doing in the moment, but it does not identify who they are. So I stopped the you don't sentences so that my child would not associate these behaviors with who they were as a person. Number four, the word bad. I do not say you're being bad. I do not say you are bad. I use the word misbehaving because it specifically speaks to their behavior, not to who they are as a person. When it comes down to it, they're not bad people, and that's not the message that I'm trying to get across. What I'm trying to get across is I don't like the behavior. The behavior is not appropriate. I don't want my kids to think that they are bad. Nobody wants to be bad, and they're not bad. They're kids.
When your child starts misbehaving and you start to feel emotionally wound up, I want you to keep in mind that the single most important thing that you can do is to work on regulating your own emotions. And I know that this is often difficult because when our children misbehave, it usually elicits anger and frustration in us. And there is some part of us that feels that there is parental failure. But as a child psychologist, I'm here to remind you that we are the only adult in the relationship. And so we want to model for them self-regulation. It's difficult to help a child regulate their emotions when we ourselves are feeling dysregulated. If you respond with anger and frustration, they may learn that that's how we respond to our big feelings, with anger and frustration. So we want to make sure that we model for them the behavior we want them to mimic. Try to approach a situation with an intent to guide and to teach.
One of the best pieces of parenting advice I've ever received is to stop saying good job to my kids. It's not specific enough and doesn't promote a growth mindset. Here are 5 things you can say instead. I like how you figured out your own way. It's impressive how much thought you put into this. Thank you for listening so closely. That was a brave thing to do. That was a really kind way to treat a friend.
What? I know that is not chalk on my wall. How many times have we talked about this? Chalk does not go on the wall. You are in so much trouble right now. Ugh. Uh-oh, kiddo. I see that we're writing chalk on the wall. You know, we've talked about that. We keep the chalk where we walk, right? Okay. Since we've already talked about this, the chalk is going to have to rest for all of tomorrow. Okay? And we can try again the day after that. Okay? It's not okay to work on the wall. Okay?
My 4-year-old just told me, I don't love you. I love daddy. Ooh, how would you feel if your child told you that right now? My husband came right away and said, don't say that, Santi. You do love mommy. I told my husband I was about to say that as well, but I just remembered what I always teach. Behavior is communication. What is he communicating to us with that statement? I asked my son what made him feel that way, and then he said that he just wanted to be with daddy, not with me. Tomorrow, my husband starts to go to work after 1 year being with us at home. Your child doesn't want to disrespect you. He's not looking to hurt you. He just doesn't have the words to communicate what is going on in the inside of him, to communicate his feelings effectively, and that's your job.
Tell me something you rolled your eyes at first and you made fun of people who actually did it, but now you do it.
Gentle parenting. I love my parents. I was very blessed by my parents. But since having my own child, I've discussed with them that we are going to do things a little differently. I grew up thinking that children who didn't get spanked didn't respect authority. It was like ingrained in my spirit that in order for children to respect elders, that they needed to be spanked as children. And it took several years for me to unpack that and recognize it wasn't true. And it became especially evident when I had my son. He is very strong-willed, and discipline has been a challenge. But I've had a lot of help from creators on this app and some books that are linked in my bio. It is a slow, gradual process, but it's worth every single step. Respectful and gentle parenting does not make weak children. It values emotional intelligence over blind obedience.
When your child hits you, you want to grab their hand gently but firmly and say, "I can't let you hit me, that hurts." Be loving. It's all in the tone of your voice. If you're being too firm and aggressive, they're going to think that you're lashing out at them. Hitting and laughing from children is so triggering, especially when you are trying to be gentle and kind. The reason toddlers laugh at you when they are in a sticky situation is because they don't know how to feel, they don't know what to do, and they suddenly feel shame.
Quit screaming at me. You will stay in here until you have calmed down. Here, let's get you someplace safe while you calm down, okay? Here, I'll stay with you. It's okay to cry. I know that's really hard. Yeah, I'm here for you. Yeah, do whatever you need to do to get your feelings out, okay? You don't want me to talk, okay?
I noticed one of my twins wasn't sitting properly while we were waiting at the doctor. Then I acknowledged the one that was sitting properly, and guess what happened? Yes, the behavior that you focus on, that's the one that expands.
Mom, I failed my math test.
I really don't know why you're having such a hard time with this class. Your brother took the same class last year and had no issues. Did you even study?
I'm never telling her anything ever again.
Mom, I failed my math test.
Oh, bummer, kiddo. I really struggled in math too. But remember at the beginning of the year, Miss Johnson said that she's going to be after school every Tuesdays and Thursdays. You just have to let her know if you need extra help. Are you comfortable asking her?
Thanks, Mom. I could really use some help in algebra.
Remember, how we respond to our teen struggles can either strengthen our relationship with them or push them away.